everybody, Taylor here from Ciao Sewing. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is gorgeous outside, the sun is shining, but here we are indoors and I am so ready to show you guys how to sew your very own tote bag. I think you guys will absolutely love this project. How cute is this? Perfect tote bag for running errands, going to the grocery store, going to the gym, dance class, whatever it may be. You guys will like this project. It's pretty simple, and the good news is you can definitely use fabric that you already have at your house, okay? So some great fabric for tote bags. Maybe you have some old curtains that you're not sure what to do with. You can definitely transform those into your tote bag. Also, maybe you have some old canvas or maybe even like a tarp or something that you use for painting. You can definitely also use that for your tote bag. Really, the rule of thumb for sewing your tote bag in the fabric, you want to make sure that the fabric is not too stretchy. So this fabric is perfect and it's so cute because it has all this little fruit on it. So I plan on one day, using this tote bag to go to the grocery store. So let's get started. And of course, I just wanted to say hi to all of my students. I hope you guys are doing well and having fun and being creative indoors, okay? I miss you guys all and hope to see you all very, very soon. So for your tote bag, you guys are gonna need to create 2 straps. Typically, I like to make my straps that are 4 inches wide and about 22 or 24 inches long. Now, if you don't have that much fabric, don't worry about it. Straps are flexible. You can make them shorter, you can make them longer, but 4 inches wide is a pretty good rule of thumb. So I'm gonna go ahead, I have one of my straps here. I'm gonna fold it in half long ways. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to pin across the entire top part, making sure that my edges are nice and even. And I'm actually gonna sew this. Okay, so just a few pins to hold it all together. So when I sew this right here, I'm going to pull my machine a little closer. I'm going to go ahead, lower my lever. I'm sewing on the edge of my fabric this time, okay? I just reversed, so make sure to reverse when you start and when you finish sewing. Finish your stitch. Okay, I'm gonna pick up my lever, and I think you guys all know I love to cut my threads as I go because I want to make sure that my project stays nice and clean throughout. No loose threads. So now I'm going to use my safety pin, and I'm actually going to use the safety pin to flip this strap right side out. So right side out also means so we can see the colorful side. So I put the safety pin on this corner of the strap, I push it inside, and I'm going to push the safety pin all the way through, and I'm going to slowly pull the fabric backwards. So this way, I'm holding onto the front of the safety pin, pushing the fabric through, and then I just gently pull the fabric backwards. So this is a really good technique in sewing. You're gonna need to learn how to use a safety pin to flip small items like this. So I'm almost done right here, and I'm gonna show you, this is so cool. I have the front of the safety pin, I'm sliding all the fabric back, and you're gonna see that now the right sides of the fabric are now showing. How awesome is that? So I will take the safety pin off because it's not gonna stay there. Perfect. So now, I am going to get my 2 larger pieces of fabric. So the good rule of thumb for the larger pieces of fabric, you're going to want to cut it approximately 18 inches high and about 22 inches wide, okay? That's a good rule of thumb for the outside of the tote bag, okay? Again, if you don't have that much fabric, don't worry, just make your tote bag smaller, no problem. But remember, you need a front piece and a back piece, And you need two straps because you need a front strap and you need a back strap, okay? So you guys will notice that I actually already pressed this with my iron. I folded it down approximately 1.5 inches. I love to iron and sewing because I think it's such a good tool and it helps you sew so much neater. Now, I have marked from my edges 6 inches from each side. This is a great rule for when you're adding your straps. You want to make sure that they are 6 inches from each side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my strap right here. I'm going to line it up with that marker. And then I'm going to also take this other strap and I'm going to line it up again. So now when you're doing your straps, you want to make sure that your strap is not twisted, okay? That it remains nice and flat. So I'm going to go ahead and you guys can see that I'm pinning this in place. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a couple more pins in between. And when I go to sew this top part, believe it or not, I'm actually going to sew my straps into the hem on the top. So it's all going to be secure with one complete stitch. Okay, so now that we have this like this, we're going to go ahead, bring our machine a little closer to us, and we're going to sew across. So now, when we sew this, we're not going to follow the standard 5/8 seam allowance because I already folded this 1.5 inches. So you want to go ahead and just line up the left side of your presser foot in line with the edge of your fabric, and you can follow that when you sew. Again, make sure to reverse. You'll see that as I'm sewing, I'm going to catch the straps. Finish my stitch and then take out my pins and cut my threads. Okay, perfect. So you will notice that when I went to go and sew the straps in place, I was able to get it all across in one fluid stitch. So this is looking perfect. I'm gonna put this right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna sew my other one. So I've already pre-prepared this one. Again, I've attached my straps 6 inches from each side. I'm just going to sew it right now. Again, sew on the bottom part of your top hem. Finishing my stitch. So now that I have 2 sides sewn with 2 straps each, I am able to connect the front part of the bag to the back part of the bag. Again, don't forget, cut your threads as you go so your bag remains nice and pretty and clean of loose threads. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is start by turning this piece of the bag with the strap already sewn into it. So the colorful side is now facing the ceiling, okay? And I'm going to take the other part of the bag, so the back part, and I'm going to lay it on top so I can no longer see the colorful part. So you guys will notice right here that it's colorful to colorful. When we sew, we typically always sew with the right sides of the fabric, or colorful to colorful, as we say in our classes, together. So I'm gonna just make sure that my top 2 pieces are really in line. I kind of like to shake it a little bit just to make sure. And you guys can notice my straps are so nice and even, 6 inches from each side. So I'm very, very happy about that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and pin around 3 sides of the bag. as I'm pinning, just 3 or 4 pins to each side. You don't really need more than that for this type of fabric. And also, keep in mind, the reason that we are only sewing and pinning 3 of the 4 sides is because we have to be able to access the top of our bag so we can actually put things in it, right? And from the top is how we're gonna flip the bag right side out. Okay, so this is looking fabulous. I'm gonna bring my machine a little closer to me. And we're gonna start sewing. Again, I'm gonna sew right here from the very top corner. I wanna make sure that it's even. When you sew this part, the good news is you can go back to follow that 5/8 seam allowance, which is the standard seam allowance in sewing. Make sure that you really reverse at the very start to make sure that the top of your bag is very secure. And when you work your way all the way around, make sure to reverse at the very end too. So again, the top is very secure. So let's get started. Now, I'm going to stop about 1 inch away from the bottom because I'm going to make sure that my needle is in the fabric. You can do that by spinning the wheel on the side of the sewing machine towards you. Put your needle in your fabric, pick up your lever, spin your project towards you, lower your lever, and now the good news is you can just keep sewing and you don't have to reverse because now it's just 1 consecutive stitch. The same exact thing for this corner. I'm going to spin my wheel towards me, making sure my needle is nice and secure in the fabric. I'm going to pick up the lever, spin the project towards me, lower the lever, and then keep going. And you'll notice that I do a lot of sewing, so I can kind of eyeball where the 5/8 seam allowance is. So the edge of my fabric is again in line with the 5/8 seam allowance. But you can always double check it before you start to sew and just make sure. Fabulous. I finished my stitch right there. I reversed very well, so it's nice and secure. I'm cutting my threads because again, I like to have a nice clean project throughout. And guys, get ready, the big reveal. I just put my hands inside of here. I turn it right side out so I can now see the colorful. I push through the 2 corners and we are about to have the cutest tote bag. We could not wait to use this. Here you go.